Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Well, I think I've had this in this bag long enough. It's been almost 2 days. Now it was sealed up in the bag and it's still damp. It does take off the yellow paint fairly well. Already cleaned this one up earlier this morning. And the yellow paint comes right off. And if you have it on there heavy enough, it takes off the red paint too. Now the first one I cleaned here, I didn't have enough goop on it evidently, because the red paint was sticking pretty strongly. But this one, it's taking all the paint off. Now having it in that bag sealed up gave it plenty of time to work, and it looks like it's done a fine job. Protect hands with chemical resistant gloves and eyes with chemical splash goggles. I think that probably would be a good idea. I did notice that there's a rather strong odor when I open the bag. It's not terribly unpleasant. It's not anything that you want to have as a perfume. But it is something to be aware of. Oh, look at that. That just wipes right off there. I think I probably should have gotten to these a little sooner. Right now I'm waiting for a video to load for today's run. So I had a little time and I thought I'd come over and check these out. I've spent most of the last 3 days out in the tractor shed working on that lawnmower. It's 46 degrees out as a high today, and right now it's about 40. So working in the basement seemed like a heck of a good idea. Yeah, the paint is just pretty much wiping right off of there. That's great. Now I'm sure that there'll be some spots that it doesn't come off quite as well. That's pretty much normal. I would imagine it depends on how much paint there is on there and how good a job I did of applying the stripper. Because I can see on this one, even though I had difficulties getting the paint off of this one in some spots, this one, it's coming right off. I mean, there's just no question about it. It's coming right off. Hardly any work at all on my part. And I think if I'd have opened that bag up yesterday, because it looks like it dried out a little bit. Now the bag is not absolutely airtight. And this looks like a spot that I didn't get quite as much goop on as I had the others. But still, it comes right off. Very happy with it. Bottle was $10. I did these 5 parts, 6 parts with about a half a cup. I think I might have wanted to go like 3/4 of a cup on there, or as I said, check them more often. But I'm very pleased with the way this stuff works. And it doesn't have the strong chemical smell like the other strippers that I've used have. Some of them smell strongly of alkaline, you know, like real caustic smell to them. This one smells a little chemically, you know, like maybe some paint thinner in there. Kind of that smell. I can't really say it's a paint thinner smell though. like describing green to a blind man. I'm going to tell you that something smells like, if it's not, says it smells like lemons or pine or anything else, trying to describe something like that is usually a lost cause. And this is just a little stainless steel brush from Harbor Freight. I think with a little better brush that wasn't quite so scrubbed out, I'd have better luck too. Well, there, that's the two straps done. Those are ready for some undercoat. Let's take a look at this cap. No, the cap didn't have much on it. Just a little bit around the bottom edge here. Yeah, it's just wiping off. Bit of paper towel, taking it right off. Using the wire brush just to get down into those letters and things. Quite pleased. Well, that's the pan. This stuff doesn't dry out quickly either. That's still wet. That's Alexa talking in the background. Sometimes when I'm talking to the camera, Alexa decides that I'm asking it a question and decides to pop off. The coughing wasn't because of the CitriStrip. I realized as I'm doing the editing on this, this is the beginning of when I started having the cold. It was actually done Wednesday last week, which would have been, what, the 10th? So, it's been a while. Yeah, that comes right off. Certainly does take off everything, and it doesn't seem to bother the shopping bag at all. Kind of nice. I was a little concerned about that in the beginning. I thought, well, if it's going to eat a hole in the shopping bag and make a mess on the bench, that's going to be a bad thing. It looks like it's really not an issue. It takes off paint. Doesn't seem to bother anything else. I kind of figured I'd have to throw the brush away, but the brush is still good. I think I could wash this in some soap and water and get most of that stuff right off of there. I'm going to give that a shot. A little soap and water rinsed right off. Now, wire brush is handy. We're getting down in the tight spots where I was using a piece of, actually I was using a sponge scrubby for a dishwasher, for dishwashing. And it just washed the paint right off. A little bit of dish soap, and I was able to remove all the paint, except down here in these little grooves that I couldn't reach very easily, where the skin on the tank is folded over. Well, that is just about perfect. Very happy with that. So now I have the two brackets and the tank ready for primer. It's a bit cold outside. It's in the 40s today. So I'm not going to try and paint these because I need to take them outside to do the painting. The paint in the basement is not a good idea. Set these off to the side over here. And we'll get off this last piece, which is the bracket that holds the tank. I wonder if I can just scrape some of this stuff off. You know, I think wiping it works better. Yeah. Okay, I think we're ready for water. Well, I'm quite happy with the work that this CitriStrip did. Paint and varnish stripping gel, citrus scent. Can't say that it's exactly citrus. Kind of a orange gone bad smell to it, but all things considered, not terrible. And it does an excellent job of taking paint off. I would have spent many more hours trying to get this cleaned out down to that level. Actually, I probably wouldn't have done it. I'd have just sanded it, smoothed off the rough edges, and let it go. But now there's no paint left on that part. Just clean steel. I put the CitriStrip on. These sat in the bag for 2 days just because I didn't get back to them. Having the bag tied up seems to work just fine because the stuff was still wet. A few spots on it had dried out. I think that was just because I didn't put enough on it. Because the stuff that I left in the pan is still wet. I think I could put that on some paint and take paint off with it. Very happy with the stuff. Got it at Walmart. I think it cost me 10 bucks for the bottle. But considering I did all of this with, well, this is 32 fluid ounces and I used maybe 4 ounces, maybe a half a cup, if that much. Because I put it all into this little container here and just a little bit in the bottom is all I had. So, worked really well. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Now that I've got this tank stripped down so I can paint it again, first warm day that I get, I'm going to take it outside, hang it up, put some primer on it, shoot some yellow paint on top of it. Really all I wanted to do was just make it all one color. When I put the yellow paint over the top of this red paint on the tank, evidently they're not compatible because the yellow paint curdled right up. Now that I've got all the paint off of it, I don't have to worry about that. With some primer and then top coat of yellow, it's going to look great. No more wrinkles. Now I can continue on with that generator job that's been sitting since last fall.